Welcome to Ancient Chronicles. Today I will talk about the reign of Amenemhat I, a monarch of the 12th Dynasty, marked a significant period in the history of ancient Egypt. His rule saw the consolidation of Egypt into a single state, a feat achieved not from the traditional seat of power, Memphis, but from Thebes. Amenemhat's reign was characterized by his strategic diplomacy and military prowess. He sent messengers up to Abu, Elephantine, and couriers down to Atu, the coast lakes, ensuring his influence was felt across the length and breadth of his kingdom. His control over the delta, the lower Nile valley from Coptos to Memphis, allowed him to engage with the Mazyes and the Sakti, demonstrating his strategic acumen. A unique aspect of Amenemhat's reign was his personal involvement in hunting, a pastime not commonly associated with Egyptian kings. He boasted of hunting lions and capturing crocodiles, creatures that once roamed the desert tracts on either side of the Nile. His hunting methods, though not explicitly documented, were likely similar to those used in Assyria, involving dogs, beaters, arrows, swords, and spears. After 20 years of sole rule, Amenemhat made a significant decision to associate his eldest son, Usurtasen, with himself in the governance of the empire. Usurtasen was a prince of great promise, known for his courage, warlike capacity, and his ability to bring prosperity to his father's affairs. His reign saw conflicts with the Petti and the Sakti, and he led campaigns against the Cushite tribes who bordered Egypt to the south. The reign of Usurtasen, the first of his name, was marked by significant military expeditions and architectural achievements. After a successful expedition, his general Amenemhat was able to penetrate into enemy territory with a mere 400 troops, capturing and carrying off a herd of 3,000 cattle and conducting the golden treasures back to his master. Usurtasen's architectural works were equally impressive. His construction spanned across Thebes, Abydos, Heliopolis, or the Fayum, and the Delta. At Thebes, he completed the cell, or naos, of the great temple of Ammon, a structure so sacred that it was reproduced unchanged in form by Thebes III when he rebuilt and enlarged the entire edifice. Usurtasen also constructed temples adorned with sculptures, inscriptions, and colossal statues at Abydos and other cities of Middle Egypt. In the Fayum, he erected an obelisk 41 feet high to the honor of Ammon, Ptah, and Menchu. His grandest and most elaborate work was the construction of the Great Temple of the Sun at Heliopolis. This temple, which he began in his third year, was a grand building that has since been demolished by time and conquerors. All that remains of its former glory is a single taper obelisk of pink granite, which rises above the green cornfields of Matarieh, catching the earliest and latest sun rays on its summit. After reigning 10 years in conjunction with his father and 32 years alone, Usurtasen associated his son, Amenemhat II, who became the sole king about 3 years later. His reign, though long, was undistinguished. However, one event of interest during this time was the reception of a large family or tribe of Semitic immigrants from Asia who sought permission to settle permanently in the fertile lands of Egypt under the protection of its powerful king. The reign of Usurtasen II was marked by significant cultural interactions and military expeditions. A scene from his reign depicts men draped in long garments of various colors, wearing sandals unlike the Egyptians, more resembling open shoes with many straps. Their arms were bows, arrows, spears, and clubs. One played on a 7-stringed lyre by means of a plectrum. 4 women, wearing phyllas round their heads, with garments reaching below the knee, and wearing anklets but no sandals, accompanied them. A boy, armed with a spear, walked at the side of the women, and 2 children, seated in a kind of pannier placed on the back of a donkey, rode on in front. Another donkey, carrying a spear, a shield, and a pannier, preceded the man who played on the lyre. The great official, Amenemhat, received the foreigners, accompanied by an attendant who carried his sandals and a staff, and who was followed by 3 dogs. A scribe, named Neferhotep, unrolled before his master a strip of papyrus, on which were inscribed the words, "The 6th year of the reign of King Usurtasen Shakpara," account rendered of the Amu, who in the lifetime of the chief, Amenemhat, brought to him the mineral, mastamite, from the country of Pichu. They are in all 37 persons. The mineral mastemite is thought to be a species of stibium or antimony, used for dyeing the skin around the eyes and so increasing their beauty. Usurtasen II reigned for 19 years. He does not seem to have associated a son, but was succeeded by another Usurtasen, most probably a nephew. The third Usurtasen was a conquering monarch, and advanced the power and glory of Egypt far more than any other ruler belonging to the Old Empire. He began his military operations in his 8th year, and starting from Elephantine in the month Epiphi, or May, moved southward, with a fixed intention of permanently reducing to subjection the miserable land of Cush. His expedition was so far successful that in the same year he established 2 forts, one on either side of the Nile, and set up 2 pillars with inscriptions warning the black races that they were not to proceed further northward except with the object of importing into Egypt cattle, oxen, goats, or asses. The forts are still visible on either bank of the river a little above the Second Cataract and bear the names of Cumae and Semne. Usurtasen III, a ruler of the Old Empire, was known for his military prowess and architectural achievements. His reign was marked by the construction of massive fortifications, built of numerous squared blocks of granite and sandstone, perched upon 2 steep rocks rising perpendicularly from the river. From his 8th to his 16th year, Usurtasen carried on a war with perseverance and ferocity in the district between the Nile and the Red Sea. His tactics were ruthless, involving the killing of men, burning of crops, and carrying off women and children. These actions were reminiscent of the recent activities of Arab traders, whom Baker and Gordon strove to crush. In his 19th year, Usurtasen made a final expedition to complete the conquest of the miserable Kashi and recorded his victory at Abydos. The effect of these inroads was to advance the Egyptian frontier 150 miles to the south, extending it from the first to above the Second Cataract. This boundary, drawn between Egypt and Ethiopia, was very much where the British government drew it between Egypt and the Sudan in 1885. Usurtasen's conquests greatly enhanced his glory and made him the hero of the Old Empire. Myths gathered about his name, which, softened into sesostries, became a favorite one in the mouths of Egyptian minstrels and minnesingers. Usurtasen was depicted as a giant more than 7 feet high, who conquered not only all of Ethiopia but also Europe and Asia. His columns were said to be found in Palestine, Asia Minor, Scythia, and Thrace. He was credited with leaving a colony at Colchis, the city of the Golden Fleece, digging all the canals by which Egypt was intersected, inventing geometry, and setting up colossi above 50 feet high. While these tales were largely imaginary, they marked the fact that in Usurtasen III, the military glories of the Old Empire culminated. He was regarded as the greatest monarch that had ruled Egypt since the days of Osiris. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. If you liked the video, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more amazing content. See you in the next one.